Hey YouTube, Sling98 here, back from my 1 week absence. This video is going to be taking a look at the card of One Night Stand 2008 thus far. Considering how close this is to Judgment Day, only a mere 2 weeks after that, they've stacked together a pretty good card, and I would just like to add in that since the virtual annihilation of any ECW originals on the roster besides Dreamer, the definition of One Night Stand has kind of changed. It's been redefined from one night stand of ECW like it was in '05 and '06 to more of a one night stand of gimmick matches. And this really is a pay-per-view full of gimmick matches. That's its identity. And kind of like Lockdown has all cage matches, they said this is all Extreme Rules, but it's basically all stipulation hardcore matches. Anyways, going down the card, it looks pretty good. Some of the matches I would have rather seen a little bit changed, but we'll get to that as we go down it. First match I'm going to go over, Shawn Michaels versus Batista. And I would just like to first off say, I don't care if I'm overrating this bucket, 4-star match between Batista and Chris Jericho on Raw. That was just spectacular. I would have rather seen Chris Jericho won it, and since he had the last match against Shawn Michaels at Judgment Day, it would have made a lot more sense to have had him win it to, continue the feud. But nevertheless, stretcher match that should be pretty good. I'm just wary that Shawn Michaels might go out like RVD did in the stretcher match last year. Hopefully not, because that would really suck balls. RVD rules. It sucks he's gone. Hopefully he'll be back soon, but that would absolutely blow if Shawn Michaels were to go out like that in a stretcher match. Nevertheless, should be very good. Would have rather seen Chris Jericho in it, but stretcher match looking good. That's, I guess, all I have to say about it. Next match. Oh, by the way, since all these were made on Raw last night, I would just like to add, even though it would have been a little bit better if they had had this a week later, it was pretty smart because of the predicament. It would have been a lot smarter of them to have had this pay-per-view about a week later, so they would have had more time to build, but I guess it was pretty intelligent of them to anyways devote all of Raw pretty much to making the matches. The second match that was made last night was Jeff Hardy versus Umaga in a Falls Count Anywhere match, basically another stipulation hardcore match. They had a pretty good brawl on the outside. Jeff Hardy took a pretty sick spot where Umaga lifted him up, spun him around, and he just splatted against the floor. That was pretty brutal. I marked out and stuff for Hardy, but I don't know if Falls Count Anywhere would be the best thing for this, but even though that and some of the other ones aren't maybe the best gimmicks they could be, it should still be very good. I'm looking forward to seeing if they're going to do any crazy spots in this match, and like what brutal moves Umaga's going to do on the outside. Very good, looking forward to that. Next match, yeah, because in the main event they had this thing with Triple H and Triple H and John Cena versus Randy Orton and JBL. If Triple H and Cena won, then they would pick the matches they were in at One Night Stand. They won, and I honestly turned it off when that started, because whenever Triple H is in the ring, he squashes everyone and he makes them look like complete pussies. Anyways, I actually turned it off, so I'm just finding this match and the last one out. It is First Blood match, John Cena versus JBL. It kind of seems a little bit random for them to have a First Blood match. I don't know. Hopefully, though, this will be better than what happened at Judgment Day, which was very slow, very technical match, which is not really JBL's style. I don't know if it's just me, but he comes off more as a hardcore brawler, at least in my opinion. Out of that match at Judgment Day, I would have more have expected something along the lines of what he did with Finlay at WrestleMania. Nevertheless, I don't know, I'm not really looking forward to this too much. This, out of the 4 matches made thus far, is the one I don't really care about, don't really want to see too much. Hopefully, though, this will be a good match anyways, and hopefully they'll put on a better show and not 5-minute, too long technical wrestling fest, which was what that basically was. Next match, Triple H versus Randy Orton, last man standing match. All I can say is we've seen these guys fight time and time again, but they haven't had too bad of a match thus far, and with the last man standing stipulation, it should be pretty good. I think we'll probably see some nice fighting on the outside, some of the normal stuff from Triple H. And since Orton's a pretty good seller, that will probably look good. Maybe see some RKOs out of nowhere, and just some brutal stuff on the outside. That's all I can really predict for that match. As for stuff I hope is made in the future, I would actually like to see, someone else said this, I think, I would actually like to see, though, Miz and Morrison versus Jimmy Wang Ying and Shannon Moore in a ladder match. Someone else said that, I think, and I absolutely love that idea. I think that would be a phenomenal match. Miz and Morrison in a ladder match. I think Morrison has only done 2 ladder matches. He's done Money in the Bank, and he had a pretty great one in October of 2006 against Jeff Hardy. So Morrison puts on good ladder matches. Miz hasn't been in one. Jimmy Wang Ying and Shannon Moore, being the crazy cruiserweights they are, they would probably be naturals for that. But Morrison, because of his athleticism, he can pull off some pretty damn good spots, like he did with that moonsault at WrestleMania. If that does happen, then I would order the pay-per-view just for that. I wouldn't care if they had Big Dick Johnson versus Mike Adamle. Even if they put that on there, if they had a ladder match like that, I would still order the thing. So that shows you how much I hope that match gets made. And if this pay-per-view does feature the Edge versus Undertaker feud, I think that would help that feud a lot. Because since it's been consecutively singles match after singles match after singles match, they've all been good, keep in mind, but it would spice it up a lot to see maybe a Hell in a Cell or something of that magnitude at this pay-per-view. Since it is one of the main feuds and pretty much the main feud going on in SmackDown, I have a feeling it will be at this pay-per-view. Preferred stipulation for that match, Hell in a Cell. Hopefully we'll see Undertaker versus Edge Hell in a Cell. Undertaker versus Batista was at, when was that? I think that was at Survivor Series, maybe. Yeah, it was. But that was very good. I think that was the last Hell in a Cell in WWE, and hopefully it'll be as good, or if not better than that, because these guys have been putting on pretty much 4-star matches. It's just getting a little stale to see basically the same match over and over again. Anyways, though, hopefully those matches I mentioned will be made. Maybe we'll have a match with Kennedy, who is doing great as a face, by the way. Maybe Kennedy versus Regal in an I Quit match. I don't know, because WWE has been putting on like less and less matches at their pay-per-views to kind of focus on the matches they do have made. Like Judgment Day only had like 6 matches, so because of that, it's being less and less displaying the mid card. So I don't know, Kennedy versus Regal in an I Quit match. That's something I wouldn't mind seeing. Regal, very good technical wrestler and brawler. Kennedy, all I can say is, wow, he did a very good version of Kofi Kingston's finisher on Raw last night in his match versus Regal, which was also pretty good, by the way. Very good episode of Raw last night. Props to WWE for rebounding from a decent Judgment Day. Hopefully this pay-per-view will be good, and if all the matches that are made in the future are on the par of the ones that have been made thus far, and hopefully we'll see some of the ones I mentioned. But anyways, I'm not going to be gone for weeks at a time anymore, so look back for some more videos soon. Thank you for watching, rate, comment, and actually be sure to comment on this video. Make sure to comment because I want to hear your thoughts on what matches you would like to see made at Judgment Day. It's still relatively early on, and even though it's only about a week away, there's still another episode of Raw, another episode of SmackDown, another episode of ECW. Actually, in fact, there's 2 more of ECW and SmackDown, so there's plenty more opportunities for matches to be made. Post a comment saying what you would like to see besides what's happened right now. Anyways, thank you for watching. Slingblade98 out.